The eye of the super typhoon NANMADOL as seen from the sky of Japan. Beautiful, yet terrifying. Few days before the typhoon, there was a typhoon warning in Japan that there will be a tropical storm NANMADOL, and it is expected to gain strength in the western Pacific Ocean and advance over southern Japan by the end of the week. Beyond southern Japan, there is a chance that the system will enter the Sea of Japan and head to South Korea. The tropical storm Nanmadol is located between two other storms, Moifa and Merbuk. Typhoon Merbuk is moving toward the cold northern Pacific waters and away from tropical storm Nanmadol and Typhoon Moifa. While Moifa is set to hit Shanghai with winds up to 120 km per hour, while Merbuk weakens and is absorbed by jet current. A day before the typhoon, unprecedented super typhoon approaches Japan. Officials urge evacuation. The U.S. Navy has designated NANMADOL to be the most destructive tropical storm to hit Japan in decades. Kyushu Island in southern Japan is in the path of a very dangerous typhoon, and the weather agency in Japan has advised citizens to leave the area before powerful winds arrive. On Saturday, the weather agency reported that Typhoon Nanmadol was passing close to the isolated Minami Daito Island, 400 kilometers or 250 miles east of Okinawa Island, with gusts of up to 270 kilometers or 168 miles. There are risks of unprecedented storms, high waves, storm surges, and rainfall recorded. Maximum caution is required, urging residents to evacuate early. The U.S. Navy Joint Typhoon Warning Center has designated Namnadul as a super typhoon, and it has the potential to be the most destructive tropical storm. Southern Kyushu Prefecture of Kagoshima is where the storm is predicted to approach or make landfall on Sunday. The weather agency predicted that southern Kyushu might receive 500 millimeters of rain on Sunday, while central Tokai could receive 300 millimeters. The storm is comparable to Class 5 hurricane. The storm is then forecast to proceed north the next day before making its way into the main Japanese island. The Japanese Meteorological Department is likely to issue the highest alarm for Kagoshima. The wind will be so fierce that some houses might collapse, warning of heavy flooding and landslides. The Weather Service issued a rare special warning concerning Typhoon Namnadol, telling 2 million people in Japan to seek shelter ahead of the storm's arrival. The storm, which is comparable in strength to an Atlantic Ocean Class 5 hurricane, is expected to turn eastward and pass over Tokyo on Tuesday before dissipating into the sea by Wednesday. Approximately 20 typhoons impact Japan annually, and the country is presently in typhoon season. These storms frequently bring severe rainfall that result in landslide or flash flood. The strong typhoons frequently halt flights, trains, and expressway in Japan, putting the country's transportation network at a standstill. Travel agencies and accommodations typically cooperate and offer free cancellation or rescheduling for typhoon-effective reservations. Typhoons have occasionally resulted in hundreds of deaths in the past in Japan, such as the Isiwan typhoon in 1959, which claimed the lives of almost 5,000 people. However, typhoon-related fatalities have declined during the past few decades. These storms are most dangerous when they coincide with high tide because they can cause landslides, abrupt rises in river levels from torrential rain, and storm urges along the shore. Scientists claim that as a result of climate change, storms are becoming more severe and extreme weather events like heat waves, droughts, and flash floods are increasingly more frequent and intense. Japan storm NANMADOL, 9 million people told to evacuate as super typhoon NANMADOL hits Japan. Japanese people have been told to evacuate their homes as Japan is battered by one of the worst typhoons the country has ever seen. The super typhoon Nanmadol has killed 2 people and injured almost 90. It hit Kyushu, the southernmost of Japan's 4 main islands, on Sunday morning and is set to reach Honshu, the largest island, in the coming days. Tens of thousands of people spent Sunday nights in emergency shelters, and almost 350,000 homes are without power. Transports and business has been disrupted, and the country is braced for extensive flooding and landslide. Nammadul has brought gusts of up to 234 km per hour, and some areas were forecast 400 or 16 inches of rain in 24 hours. Bullet train services, ferries, and hundreds of flights have been cancelled. Many shops and other businesses have closed, and sandbags have been put in place to protect some properties. The typhoon made landfall near the city of Kagoshima on the southern tip of Japan's most southerly island, Kyushu, on Sunday morning. A river in Kyushu has burst its banks. One was killed when his car was submerged in flooding, and another died after being buried in a landslide. One more person remains missing, and 87 have been injured. Roofs ripped off buildings and billboards toppled over. The storm is forecast to turn east and pass over Japan's main island of Honshu before moving out to sea by Wednesday. The capital, Tokyo, has experienced heavy rain, with the Tuzai underground line suspected because of flooding. A level 5 alert, the highest of Japan's disaster warning scale, has been issued for more than 500,000 people in Kagoshima, Miyazaki, Oita, Kumamoto, and Yamaguchi areas. A total of around 9 million people have been ordered to evacuate parts of the Kyushu, Shikoku, and Shugoku regions after a level 4 alert. Nanmadol has been categorized as super typhoon, a term applied to storms with sustained wind speeds of 240 km per hour or 150 mph or more. It is the equivalent of a category of 4 or 5 hurricane. Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has delayed a visit to New York, where he is due to give speech at the UN General Assembly, until Tuesday to monitor the impact of the storm. Scientists have predicted a very active hurricane season this year, influenced by a natural phenomenon known as La Nina. Warmer sea surface temperatures in the Atlantic and Caribbean as a result of climate change may also have an impact. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has said intense tropical cyclones will likely increase on a global scale. Typhoon Nanmadol lashes Japan with heavy rain. Japan's 14th typhoon of the season. The storm is now moving east along Japan's main island towards the cities of Osaka and Kyoto, and is expected to reach the capital Tokyo on Tuesday. People need to remain highly vigilant for heavy rains, gales, high waves, and storm urges. Tens of thousands of people spend the night in sports centers and other facilities as a precautionary measure after warnings of floods and landslides. A flooding advisory is in place for Tokyo and neighboring Kanagawa Prefecture. As the storm moves northeast up to 400 millimeters or 15.75 inches of rain is expected in the central Tukay region, the nation's industrial heartland, over the next 24 hours. One man was killed when his car was submerged by a flooded river, and firefighters were trying to determine if a one in his 40s was inside a hut that was buried by a landslide. At least 69 people were injured. That was a wave from Kyushu. A 7-Eleven store bracing for impact. This morning on Mount Nasi, Wakayama, Japan. A flooded family marked because of Typhoon NANMADOL. Damage of solar panel in Japan. A big tree uprooted by Typhoon NANMADOL. A huge flooding at the Kaida River, Miyazaki, Japan. The main road to Mototsuka Village, Miyazaki Prefecture had collapsed. Flooding at Uyuda River, Kagoshima, Japan. Despite the danger of Typhoon NANMADOL, some Japanese people are trying to stay positive. Japanese self-defense forces are dispatched and out of their way now to help with the damages of the Typhoon NANMADOL. This shows how quick the response of the Japanese people to be there and help their fellow Japanese. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Please watch our other videos, please. Subscribe.